Okay, so the first site I'm visiting, don't mind my voice, I have COVID unfortunately, is the Pacific Islands, and I'm looking at the Palmyra Atoll in the US of A. Or I guess it's owned by the US of A. Oh, I see the people on the boat. Cool. So I guess they're part of the mission. Um, and I see a bunch of cool little schooling fish. And a bunch of brightly colored coral, and I like reading all the facts. And it says that the brighter the color, it's because of UV protection, which is neat. And I like that you can like kind of wander around this one. And then still in the Palmyra atoll, got crazy corals, which is really cool. This kind of looks like pancakes. The one that brings you right to the giant stack, with just sticks on it. So yeah, that's the first site. I would also like to note that while I was still in the Palmyra Atoll, I got scared by a giant fish that's looking directly at the camera, and there's a cool scuba diver there, which is neat. So I'm still exploring the Palmyra Atoll, and I find it rude that they named the species of whales melon-headed whales, although I do kind of see where they're coming from. I've literally never seen or heard of these whales before, but they look neat. Alright, now for another location, I'm looking at Japan, Nishibama, Akajima Island. So the water looks insanely blue, and the bottom sand is very white, which is really neat. There's a ton of smaller fishes around, which I didn't see in the other one, and I just see one kind of big hunk of coral reef as opposed to the whole floor being covered in it. Okay, finally, I'm at the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary. It says the astronauts train here, which is really cool. And on the first little slide, they have this like big yellow object that's been submerged. It has a bunch of ropes on it and stuff, and also has a lot of coral growing on it, which is cool. Pretty great. And then on the next page here, we have some really cool coral poking its head up from the sand at Chico Rocks, and I thought one of them was a skull, but luckily it's not, so that's good. This really looks like a traditional coral reef. Like, this is what comes to my mind when you think coral reef. But it's cool. I like the like finger looking ones. There's another sunken ship with coral growing on it, which is really cool. I guess some sunken things can be bases for coral, which is good. If there's not like another base that they can grow on or adhere to anywhere around there. So I guess we could be grateful for some of the sunken ships because they're providing life even after theirs has gone below the ocean. Okay, so my favorite was the Palmyra Atoll, and I went to the site and they didn't have that, so I'm gonna look at the Wake Atoll instead. And 2 year time range. Let's look at this here. Let's see. Okay, so over the past 2 years, it looks like it's gone between no stress and bleaching watch, mostly going in and out of there with spending a little bit of time. Between August and September in a bleaching warning. Let's check some of the other years. So 2020 to 2021. Significantly more time, it looks like, well, a fair amount more time spent in bleach warning. With again the same up and down cycle between the warmer and cooler months, which is understandable due to temperature changes often being what causes bleaching. Alright, let's see. So right now the coral's looking pretty good. I'm gonna see if I can find any times where it was doing really bad. Alright, between the first July and November cycle of the 2017-2018 release cycle, it looked like the levels got a bit higher than normal and it went above a warning, and it actually went up to alert level 2 for a short period of time, which is not great, but it looks as though it was able to recover because it went back down into no stress pretty quickly after that, so it didn't spend too much time at a high alert level. And in the 2016-2017, it looks like in 2017 between July and November we had another spike, so I'm guessing that was the 2017 and 2018 were particularly warm for some reason. Oh, there could have been, I can look this up later, but there could have been an El Nino event, which might have been what caused those higher levels of alerts and higher temperatures in those warmer months. But again, it went up to alert level 2. I'm going to look and see if there was an El Nino event. Okay, it looks like there was El Nino, La Nina stuff happening around that time, but I can't find anything that points specifically to the summers of 2017 and 2018 and to why those were particularly warm. Okay, update. I realized that I was reading the graphs wrong and that the spike was only between July and November of 2017. No wonder why they were so similar. So yeah, I don't know what specifically happened in 2017 to make that spike in alert levels and warnings go up. I'm just gonna assume that it was a particularly warm season. Alright, so based on the images that I saw, I'm under the impression that the corals at Wake Atoll are definitely still alive today, as they are under bleaching watch as of June 2022, and if there's still corals to put under bleaching watch, I'm going to assume that they are still there. So I think that some of them, a small percentage, have bleached or died off because of that warm summer of 2017. But other than that, I don't see any major threats in the recent years that could have wiped them out. So to answer number 4, an area that historically has a highly anomalous area, the corals in that area are going to be used to change and be able to adapt, and they are able to adapt to climate change easier, which makes them more able to survive, as opposed to incredibly stable temperature area wherein if the temperature goes too far above what they're used to, they have like a smaller range of what they're used to, so they're more likely to die due to their environment changing than the corals that are in the anomalous area. Okay, so looking through some of the other ones, Papua New Guinea, 2017 to 2018, so that kind of warm spike that hit the atoll that I was looking at. Papua New Guinea seems to be nothing but spikes. They don't really seem to have a no stress area. They seem to be always under a watch, a warning, or an alert level in that 2017-2018, because right now they're at a bleaching alert level 2. It's not great. Let's go back in time a little bit to 1988, 1989. It's still consistently at like a high line instead of where the atoll was, where it was kind of going up and down with the seasons. But it was at a lower level, so it was alternating between no stress, bleaching watch, and bleaching warning instead of going up to alert levels 1 and 2. So definitely getting worse with global warming, which is fun. And then I see in the the other Southeast Asia sections, there seems to be a lot more under watch, warning, and alert than there are in the Atlantic Ocean and in the Eastern Pacific, Polynesia, U.S. Pacific Remote Islands, and Micronesia. Oh yeah, because that's under Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia seems to be experiencing more stress. So, and then Northwestern Australia, they just went down to no stress. Let's look at 2017, 2018 again. Oh wow, they have a big spike. And I was like, oh, why is it in January? Because it's the southern hemisphere. So yeah, looks like they had a big spike in the winter of 2017, 2018. Just like the atoll had in the summer, not our winter, their summer. You know what I mean, of 2017. So that's interesting. Let's see, in the Indian Ocean, the Middle East, at least there seems to be a lot of bleaching going on. In South Asia, there's a little bit, and then in the Western Indian Ocean, there is none. That's interesting. Oh yeah, that's also the Southern Hemisphere. But from March to October, it looks like there's no stress for 2019. And then it just spikes up, and it spends a couple months in alert level 2, and then it goes back down to no stress. So I wonder what causes it to peak that highly and come back to no stress. This is very interesting. But yeah, I think that it's really neat to look at the cycles in these, and I'm glad that I had the opportunity to explore this because this is really neat.